Thinking of our homeland and those who sing about it, there are those who doubt it is the land of the free. I created this company in order to be able to get away with things like introducing unexpected contemporary elements of dance and movement, of relatable context. I do it in English as often as possible, but every piece we use is, I think the technical term is we mess with a chestnut from the opera repertoire. And in language that I'm just beginning to understand and really appreciate from part of the conversation last night, I think I'm deconstructing, but I'm certainly appropriating the music, the DWEM music, dead white European males. Every piece that I do is built in that on a foundation of that. And I think
down. I've never heard that term.
yeah, DWEM. Also recently, the last two pieces that I've done, I think I would have to say that I have started visiting and become conscious of the ways in which the pieces we are visiting the intersection of race and also cultural appropriation. So those are both things that, that is basic to all the work that my company does.
I love that. I think you said accessibility, and I feel like that's our big Pee-wee Playhouse word of the day. Like that's going to come up a lot tonight. I have so many questions about accessibility. Just to say, there's a lot of us on this panel that deal with DWEM, that are using the art forms of yesterday, and I am not a dead white man, so I think that's going to be a big thing that we discussed today. Garrett, you gave us some real big clues about what the source material is. Could you dig into? I can't even pronounce what the name of the original opera is. You're going to help me.
Yeah, so it's the opera is Die Fledermaus, or the bat is how a lot of people would translate that. Most folks who know my work know that I spent the first decade of my career as a professional bassoonist. So Die Fledermaus is an opera that I've had the pleasure of performing many times, I think 3 times. And the long story of it is about a chambermaid who gets her mistress's clothing and sneaks off to a party, and all of the hijinks that can happen there, with the central sort of ingredient, I'll say, being champagne. It's a very light opera with a lot of funny moments even in it. There's even a tune in the opera known as the laughing song that I'm sure you're familiar with, Gail. But in the aria in which this piece of music was derived or appropriated, I love that you use that word. I think that's very interesting. We have someone from afar, someone who's Hungarian, bringing into the land of Viennese waltzes and polkas the czardas, a dance and a music style from Hungary. And in this scene, we have just this this song and this emotion about homeland, and oh, how beautiful it is. And I think in context, it's really interesting because this character, this mysterious Hungarian character, is coming among all of these Austrians, these, high cultured Austrians, who all of a sudden have to deal with their space being disrupted. And I feel like that's a lot of the conversation surrounding the arts and the general discourse these days, disruption of spaces and what we can do to change those spaces and make them ones that are more accessible to more people.
I find that story so relatable, kind of a pauper to prince story. But it also seems like when we're using a term like appropriation, and I think we're saying like a justified appropriation, we are recognizing something that was not accessible, something that wasn't relatable in that.